What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at something that I didn't even know existed until I saw it at TFCon just recently. This is the Robot Hero Durden and Barney. I'm assuming it is Barney and Durden, slugfest like Tyler Durden Fight Club, and Barney because I guess they think he's a Tyrannosaurus, which I don't think is true, but I'm not sure. Whatever. That's besides the point. So I was actually inquiring about what these things are, because like there is absolutely nothing on the box that tells you anything about them. And the original speculation was that these were just kind of knockoffs of the KFC tapes, but I ended up talking to Hanny over at Agabus about this, and he said, nope, this is a KO company. Robot Hero does KOs, but this is their first like attempt at a legitimate product. So here they are. They come with little cassette tape holders for accessories here, and notably they do actually have specific cassette tapes for each one of them. There's the little spikes here that would go through the reels to prevent anything from moving on the cassette tape back in the day and kind of hold everything in position. And because of the way Slugfest works here, his actually has half of that pointy piece here filed away, so there is a specific one for each of them. But there you go, you got that, and you know, I think that whenever you make a tape you have to have the little cases to go with them. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at Durden here, Slugfest, and pardon the finger, I actually got it caught in the car door. That really hurt, on the way to Skullfest actually. Anyway, this is Durden, I believe, and obviously it's Slugfest. I do feel like Slugfest is the better looking tape. He does have some good paintwork on here. I do just wish there was a little bit more. I kind of wish it was like a metallic-y pink actually. I don't know. If Repro Labels came out for this, I might consider it. On the back, he still looks pretty good, and I think that Slugfest lends itself to being a pretty decent looking tape. For reference, here is Buzzsaw, and you can see kind of, you know, it looks pretty good. It doesn't look terrible as a tape, and you do have to make some concessions for the robot mode on one of the two sides. Barney here I don't think holds up so well. He's very hollow in the front here, and like you just see bits of him everywhere, and I don't really know necessarily which side of the tape I feel like looks better. You got like more of the silver detailing here, but you got the awful hollows. On this side you have less silver detailing, hollows of all this pieces here, and the face showing. So I don't know which one's better. Definitely nowhere close to being as good as Buzzsaw. So as I would think one would imagine, everyone's asking, is he going to fit in Soundwave? There's Slugfest in there, looking just fine. No tolerance issues getting him in or out. Certainly not really worried about it. And then here's Barney, and he goes in just fine too. So let's get these guys transformed. The transformation is super simplistic. You're going to take the head here, rotate it around, and pull out this little tab right here. It can be a little difficult to do, but they did give you a little lip to kind of tug on. And just go ahead and plug this in, just like that. Take this piece down here, and you can get the feet out of the way. Rotate this little peg up like that, because it's going to help us secure everything together. Rotate the bottom of the cassette here like that, and you can see how this is going to close up here, and you should tab it into that little blue peg here. Take the legs back here, rotate them on around. Got to free them from the front pieces. There we go. And we can rotate these all the way out, just like so. Bring the tail all the way back, and you can kind of position it a little bit how you like it. And then take the hands, kind of rotate them around, and I guess kind of do the T-Rex thing, just like that. So there's Barney, very simplistic. A little bit on the cute side, not quite so intimidating, but I think it ends up working out. And here is Durden. Now, one thing I have to point out, and I'll show you when we get there, but Durden did need a little bit of work to actually work properly. So he's real simplistic. You're going to take the tail here, and you can kind of, I mean, you can bring it all the way in if you want, or you can kind of angle it a bit more. For a tail, I like to bring that all the way flat, but the head I actually do prefer to leave it up a little. I think it just gives it a little bit more character to me. Take these, flip them this way, and you'll see you have the ball joints here. Just kind of rotate them on the ball joints. The back feet have this first and then a second, so you can kind of arch the leg like that. So go ahead and do that on this side like this, and then rotate this down, and then the front feet are not quite as articulated as the back, so they're just kind of straight. Now the thing about this guy is, mine at least, right out of the box, these spines would not stay up at all. And the problem is because the way he's pinned here, here, and here, the top is actually left to flex open. You can see it bending a little. I found that it needs more force here, so what I ended up doing is actually kind of prying this apart a little with the spikes extended and pulling them out, and then I added just a little bit of clear nail polish to all the inside surfaces here and then to the side of the spikes. It makes it a little bit more difficult to move, but like, I mean, if you don't do it, you can see when it's not up, it just kind of falls right back down. So when you do the clear nail polish, it still, you know, might need another coat there, but it'll actually stay up like it's supposed to. There we go, we got the little slugfest here in his Dino mode. And I gotta say, these guys were relatively cheap. I think they were like 30 bucks, and not having the KFC tapes and having heard horrible things about them, I couldn't pass up a chance to get a Overkill and Slugfest for my masterpiece collection. And I'm not really disappointed with it, even though I did have to add a little bit here. I've heard the KFC ones have a hard time standing. Like, these guys are pretty solid. You know, he's got a good base going on here, and you know, the Overkill's got plenty of space on his legs too. That's really not a problem. So let's take a little close look at Overkill here. He actually does still retain a little bit of articulation because of how the head works here. You don't get any side to side, but you do get an up and down on it. The shoulders are on the ball joints here with the pin on the forearm, I guess. Ball jointed legs. And then you saw the swivels here. Tail's just on a swivel. No mouth. I wish there was an extra pin going through for the mouth, but I guess, you know, given how it's cast and stuff, it might be relatively easy to break. Overall, I like this guy quite a bit. Slugfest here, he has much more limited articulation, I guess. I mean, the tail goes up and down, but no side to side, and there's no jaw on the head to move. But I think it looks fine. You saw the ball jointed legs, and then you have the two swivels on the back and the one swivel on the front. Overall, I think it works. So here they are next to a couple MP tapes, and I think they look pretty good with them. I do feel like the actual MP ones look a little more premium because the extra paintwork and stuff like that, but I really don't feel that these guys just don't go along with the collection. I think they're a worthy addition. And we'll go ahead and bring in Soundwave here, because what are the cassettes without Soundwave leading them? And of course they both come with their weapons here. You can peg them in on the sides. Now I did think that originally the weapons maybe held the spines upward, but they don't. They will keep them from collapsing all the way, but not enough to actually have them fully extended. And one thing to note is the pegs on these are really long, so when you put them in, you can actually have them uneven where one is in more than the other. If you're a perfectionist, just be a little bit aware of that so you get the right look. You can kind of see that the one cannon's closer to the head than the other. Not really that big of a deal, but something to be aware of. I do think these guys look really good armed up, and that premium feel that Laserbeak had, I mean, he still has the red paint here, but the silver really goes a long way to make these guys feel at least a little bit more premium, in my opinion. So I've seen these guys popping up on some websites recently, and you know, they were unknown to me beforehand, so I wanted to get this out there. I think if you don't have the KFC guys and you like the aesthetic of these guys and you're looking for some MP cassettes of Slugfest and Overkill, I think these are pretty solid. So let's just get them back into their cassette mode, and let's get out of here. You can see I've been pretty much doing it already. There's really not a whole bunch to say for these guys to get them transformed. I certainly have never seen them before, but I'm okay with it. I think they should be doing some more cassettes, because there's a lot of cassettes KFC did that are not terribly well received, in my opinion. So we'll just get all this stuff lined back up, and things do pop off the ball joints a little, but it's really not that bad. I find this part to be kind of the hardest part, to figure out which way all this stuff is supposed to go so it all fits in together. But once you get it there, I mean, it's not really an issue. Just a little bit of a trial and error until you get things to swing around, and some things just have to rotate a certain way. Take that all the way back. We'll tuck his little tail in. Bring this back up. Fold that down. Split the head. Bring it down. Peg that in. Well, rotate the peg in, I should say. And there we go. We got Barney and Durden back into their cassette modes. Overall, relatively inexpensive. I enjoy them. I think they were worth the $30 or whatever they cost. So yeah, if you don't have them, I would say check them out if you like the aesthetics. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.